Good morning, beta. Today we are going to do the weaknesses of the plot of The Merchant of Venice. There are many fantastic things in it, and there are many things which are unreal and incredible. When we say The Merchant of Venice, it means something magical. And when it has been written by Shakespeare, it is certainly beautiful. So, first of all, when we find Antonio in need of money, such a rich merchant, yet he writes a bond and he signs that bond, and that too such a ridiculous bond that he will give a pound of flesh from near his heart. It seems incredulous. Then the lottery of the caskets. It's very incredible. How can a person, a girl, a woman of Portia's status marry someone who chooses her in the form of a casket, in the form of a lottery? Then the demand of a pound of flesh. It also seems unnatural. Then another thing, fourth point which we can take up is women in the guise of a lawyer and a clerk, and they are not recognized by their husbands. How can that be? Not possible. Antonio's ships are lost on the sea, and then they return safely to the harbor. How? That too. Then there are many improbable things. Let us see how they are dealt with in the play by Shakespeare. First of all, when the play starts, right in the opening scene, we find that in Antonio and Shylock, they are two people who hate each other, racial wise also. One is a Christian, the other is a Jew. One is a person lending money on high rates of interest. The other person lends money at no rate of interest. Bond is nothing short of death warrant for Antonio. He knows it, and yet he signs it, knowing that Shylock is not a person who can be, believed in, and he knows that he is signing his death warrant. Shylock is a wicked man, is a cunning man. Everybody knows, even Antonio knows, yet he signs that bond. Shylock extends his hand of friendship, which is fake. He mentions the condition of the pound of flesh out of fun. He calls it a merry bond, MERRY, merry bond. Antonio knows that his ships will return in months, but Shakespeare rules over this probability. He says, okay, even if they do not return, I will return your money before the due date. Then the second case of incredibility is the lottery of the caskets. Portia's father devised the plan of the lottery of the caskets for the marriage of his daughter. It is a sort of foolish and a ridiculous plan. Portia is bound by the will of her dead father. She cannot choose the man she likes, nor can she refuse the man she dislikes. Whoever finds her portrait in the caskets will marry her, whether she likes it or not. Portia abides by the will of her dead father, but Shakespeare, with his magic touch, makes the casket story real and credible. He turns the lottery of the casket into a test of character for the people who come for the lottery. Portia's father made a holy plan for a holy purpose, and the hard oaths frighten away many unworthy suitors. Only the right man who rightly loves Portia will choose the right casket. Thus, Shakespeare makes the casket story probable and maybe something which we can use to test somebody. Now the next thing is incredible demand of Shylock. Shylock goes to the court to demand a pound of flesh from near the heart of Antonio. It is nothing short of crime and murder, and that too in the court of the Duke of Venice. Shakespeare has prepared a very convincing ground. The bond was duly signed and sealed by Antonio at the notary's. Coterie takes note of the legal documents. During this thing, Shakespeare's time, people were sold and brought as slaves. The bond is no doubt cruel and bloody, but it is duly signed by him, by Antonio. Portia proves the ill intentions of Shylock, and he is harshly punished at the end. Now the court appearance. A person, a wife, and her maid come to the court, dressed as a lawyer and his clerk. It looks strange and unbelievable that they are not recognized by their husbands. But Shakespeare makes this scene believable. Portia has brought necessary papers and clothes. With these papers and clothes, dressed in those clothes, Portia looks very much a judge, a young doctor of law. Bassanio is very worried about his friend Antonio. They are in no mood to stare at the lawyer and the clerk. They are disguised perfectly, you can say. And they were married only one day ago, Bassanio and Portia. So the husbands could never even dream that their wives would be so courageous as to come to the court dressed as a lawyer and the clerk. This is Shakespeare's great dramatic, you can say, viewpoint. Now the safe return of Antonio's ships. In the last scene of the play, Portia brings a letter for Antonio. It informs him about the safe return of his ships too. How did the wrecked ships of Antonio come back safe and sound? This is possible only in a Shakespearean play. And how and where did Portia get that letter? Nobody gave the address of Portia's house. Antonio certainly did not give the address of Portia's house. Shakespeare if we ask Shakespeare, I don't think he would be able to answer these questions, but the safe return of Antonio's ships is a moot point. It is quite incredible and improbable. Then we find that Shakespeare, he has totally and completely ridden over the improbabilities. When we are reading the play, nothing seems out of place. Everything seems good and nice. Poetical characterization, powerful characterization, the beautiful bonds between all the scenes. He creates a perfect illusion of reality. Everything seems real, convincing, and probable. So we find that although many things are unconvincing, or you can say many things we do not agree with, yet Shakespeare has made them realistic and beautifully portrayed in all the scenes and action of the drama. See you next time.